City Council regular council meeting for Thursday, March 25th. The time is now 6:12 p.m. Sorry about being a little late. We had an executive session to finish in the other virtual room. Due to concerns over COVID-19 exposure, the city has implemented measures to protect our community, including the closing of council chambers and limiting public attendance to electronic means only. Members of the public may view the live meeting proceedings on Tempe Channel 11 or attend the meeting virtually through Cisco WebEx events by visiting tempe.gov/clerk for more information. First up, item number 1 is a moment of silence. Let's just take a second here and have a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Next up, item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. I will go ahead and lead here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up for the meeting minutes, item number 3, I'm going to be assisted tonight by Councilmember Navarro. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like approval of City Council meeting minutes A1 through 4.
It's moved by Councilmember Navarro, seconded by Vice Mayor Keating. I'm going to go ahead and call for a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Tubey?
Aye, sorry.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Aye.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The meeting minutes are approved 7-0. Next up, we're going to move for the acceptance of board, commission, and committee meeting minutes. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd like to move acceptance of board and commission committee meeting minutes 1 through 14.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilmember Navarro for the acceptance of board, commission, and committee meeting minutes, items 3B 1 through 14. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Garland. I'm going to go ahead and take a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Tubey?
Aye.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Aye.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. That item is approved unanimously 7-0. Next up, item 4, reports and announcements. Mayor's reports. Just wanted to note, everyone, that the City of Tempe Board and Commission reappointments, and appointments. There are reappointments and new appointments to the Board and Commission meetings, as outlined on item 5A1 on the agenda tonight. So feel free to refer to that if you're looking to see who has been either appointed to a board or commission or who's been reappointed to another term. Next up, we have item 4B, City Manager's reports and announcements. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. A couple of items today for City Manager's reports and announcements. First, call upon Tom Dunsing to provide a brief impact fee study update.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Mayor, Council, good evening. Tom Dunsing, Deputy Internal Service Director over Finance, and I'll be very brief. As you know, development impact fees are an important funding source for infrastructure in the city that's impacted by growth in the city. So state statute requires that we regularly review and evaluate the impact fees. And I'm here to let you know this evening that the process for the next round of impact fee studies has started. We're looking at fire, parks and recreation, and police infrastructure in order to set the fees. To let you know, a notice of intent will be posted tomorrow, and the notice of intent will be for a planned public hearing on May the 27th, along with a draft report that'll be posted regarding the infrastructure assets and the projected growth that we're assuming in this impact fee study. There will be stakeholder feedback, a public meeting, and once the draft report for the infrastructure is accepted by council, we anticipate that to be in the July timeframe. Then the actual fee development process will begin. It's a lengthy process. It's dictated by state statute. And at this point, I would estimate that we're on track to come back to the council sometime in October for the actual request to approve an updated development fee schedule with any changes in development fees effective January 1st, 2022. And that concludes my comments, and barring any questions, Andrew, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Let's see. I don't think any members of council have any comments. Mr. City Manager, are you okay with going on to item number 2, the COVID-19 update?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I just say one quick thing before you start, if that's okay?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say, just to thank you, obviously, Andrew, everyone I'm obviously encouraged by the vaccination rates, whatever, but, one of my concerns is that we know today that the governor, lifted a lot of the restrictions, and obviously also is sort of preempting cities and towns from continuing to implement local mask mandates, which is obviously of real concern to me personally. I really do believe, and I think a lot of people do, that the use of masks and obviously physical distancing and other CDC guidelines are truly key contributors to the low rates of COVID that we've recently been experiencing. We've really seen the numbers go very much down in the last few weeks, which is a good sign. But I do believe that, quite honestly, this lifting of the restrictions was quite premature, especially given the fact that we just, yesterday had the vaccinations open to people ages 16 and over. And I would have liked to have seen this, frankly, play out a little longer and to see more shots in arms before deciding to just sort of wholesale lift all the restrictions. But I just wanted to say, Mr. City Manager, I know the number one priority for our council is obviously the community health and safety of our residents and businesses. And we want everything to come back in full swing just as badly as everyone else. But I just feel like we need to exercise some caution to make sure it's in the best interest of the long-term success of both our economy and our community members. So I just ask for everyone's patience who's watching this meeting tonight. We're going to be working with the city attorney's office and a lot of our partners and kind of key stakeholders to determine what the best course of action moving forward will be as the Tempe City Council. And Mr. City Manager, just wanted to see if there's some ability to just have an opportunity to discuss this with the entire council at the sort of next available opportunity, because given the fact that this announcement just sort of came out of nowhere, and unfortunately there was not any heads up given to local cities and towns that these restrictions were going to be lifted, it's kind of created a little bit of chaos, not honestly just in Tempe, but across the valley. So I'm just trying to see if there's some ability for you kind of later in your presentation to talk about what we might be able to do to get the council together to have this discussion about how we want to move forward and continue to kind of make practices and guidelines that really are truly in the best interest of the people of the city from a public health standpoint.
Sure. Appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things. One, we are giving us until, let's say, the April 8th work study session to have staff come back and provide additional information and comment on what we are permitted to do under the executive order and what we might not be permitted to do is something we're certainly happy to do, keeping with our existing council meeting calendar that we have. In addition, to your point about the order from today, our city attorney, Judy Bauman, is here today and can speak briefly on that, and she's prepared to do so. And then after that, I had asked Assistant Fire Medical Rescue Chief Andrea Glass and our public communications and media relations manager, Nikki Ripley, to talk about the city's efforts to continue to promote good hygiene under CDC guidelines, that what we're doing, and also to promote the vaccination programs that are currently underway. So we're ready when you are to go ahead and have both those presentations.
Great. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. So I'll go ahead and turn it first to City Attorney Judy Bauman.
Thank you very much, Mayor, members of council. So yes, the governor today issued Executive Order 2021.06, which lifts certain restrictions on businesses, including purporting to lift any local mask mandates that conflict with the executive order. It also lifts restrictions on organized public events of 50 people or more without having to go seek permission under the COVID guidelines as his prior executive order had required. Special permit requirements may still apply, so if folks are looking at a significant event, they still would need to look at the city code under 5-2. Businesses are still recommended to take cautions to keep up with CDC protocol to limit the spread. And Arizona Department of Health Services also updated guidance today. They continue to also recommend that masks and physical distancing and hand washing, all those protocols be followed. So we would encourage residents and our businesses to review those updated guidelines. Tempe and other jurisdictions are currently evaluating, as the mayor mentioned, this new executive order, and we will come back and provide updates to the council and to the public on April 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. Mr. Manager, anything else?
Yes, I will now ask Assistant Chief Glass and Ms. Ripley to provide their presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. And I'm going to share my screen so I can pull up our presentation now. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Assistant Fire Chief Andrea Glass with Tempe Fire Medical Rescue. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening and provide a very brief update on COVID-19 and Tempe Fire Medical's role, partnerships within the city to respond to this pandemic. March 12, 2021 marked 1 year since the World Health Organization, and let me minimize my apologies, hold on. Turn my video, okay. My apologies. March 12, 2021 marked 1 year since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. Tempe Fire Medical Rescue began monitoring COVID-19 as it first began to spread to the United States, and even more closely following the first documented case in Arizona, January 25th, 2020. Following the declaration by the WHO, Tempe Fire Medical Rescue has monitored and tracked COVID-19 daily. We've done this worldwide, nationally, statewide, countywide, and within Tempe. To assist with testing processes in the county, Tempe Fire Medical Rescue has partnered with the ASU Biodesign Institute to provide testing once a week beginning September 2020 and ending the last week of February 2021. During that time, 4,579 saliva tests were completed. As vaccines were being developed, Tempe Fire Medical Rescue worked closely with Maricopa County Department of Public Health to assist with the initial surge that was forecasted to occur in getting the 1A emergency medical response personnel vaccinated and the priority 1B workforce vaccinated. To date, 960 vaccines have been administered by Tempe Fire Medical Rescue, resulting in 480 City of Tempe employees within the priority 1B group receiving the first and second doses of vaccines. Tempe Fire Medical Rescue is working with Arizona Department of Public Health and Maricopa County Department of Public Health to assist identified vulnerable populations in the community to administer additional doses of vaccines. These vaccines will go specifically to our senior citizen community members who are unable to access the vaccination locations on their own. Recent age limit requirements for vaccinations have been lifted at the state and county level, opening it to anyone ages 18 and older for the Moderna and Janssen vaccine, and 16 and older for the Pfizer vaccine. For the most current vaccine information and locations, go to the city's vaccine website, and I'll show where the red tab is in a second, for additional locations. Collaboration among all the city departments has been critical during this pandemic. Early on, we partnered with the Office of Strategic Management and ASU Biodesign Institute to expand how we used wastewater to evaluate the presence of COVID-19 and to see how the levels were doing in the city of Tempe. If there were significant increase in specific areas, we focused our education efforts and prevention efforts with the help of the communications and media relations team, as well as neighborhood programs. Additionally, working with the communications and media relations teams, We have continued to push the most current information to the public through the city's coronavirus page, which you see on the right-hand side. And again, that tab on the upper-hand side where it says looking for COVID vaccine information is that red tab you'll see on the city's site to be able to get the most current vaccine information for the city of Tempe. The Enterprise GIS team within the city has been instrumental in creating dashboards that are easy to navigate and obtain information that is easy to understand with COVID-19. As information has changed rapidly during the pandemic, adjustments have been made to make sure the most accurate information is being posted for anyone to see. These dashboards are updated weekly as data is updated at the Arizona Department of Public Health's level. With today's announcement, we are working to update this current dashboard to be more specific to the updated guidelines and information through the executive order and Arizona Department of Health Services. The Enterprise GIS team has also created dashboards that are Tempe specific to show new daily cases for each zip code, 7-day moving averages, and updated numbers for vaccines that are zip code specific to Tempe. The daily numbers are important to see how we are trending as a city, since the state site is a cumulative number of new cases for the zip codes. If we can see daily or 7-day averages start to increase dramatically, we can push messaging back out to Tempe residents and businesses to try to prevent COVID-19 from following past patterns. We are seeing promising signs of progress. Spring training is back in the Valley, and all the folks at Diablo Stadium are doing an incredible job or have done an incredible job at ensuring spectators are safe and following the safety precautions put in place. We'd like to thank all the staff and Tempe Diablos who are assisting in making spring training a safe event this year. The city's special event task force has worked closely through the past year to assist with premise extensions for businesses and ensure special events are occurring as safely as possible. We are seeing those return to the city, which again is promising. With the governor's executive orders lifting capacity restrictions, we are seeing businesses work to increase capacity in a safe manner. There is good reason for people to continue to wear masks and practice physical distancing still. We are still in the middle of a pandemic and still should practice the safe behaviors that led to the decreases in cases recently. The efforts by all citizens, all business leaders, and all of us make a difference in what we want to continue to be as safe as possible as vaccinations become available. Vaccination quantities are still limited, so we really want to stress the importance of maintaining safe behaviors as they continue to roll out for the ages 16 and above for Pfizer vaccine, 18 above for the Moderna and Janssen vaccine. And I will now turn it over to Nikki Ripley to continue with the communications portion.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Glass. Mayor and Council, good evening. Nikki Ripley, Communication and Media Relations Manager. I'll cap off Andrea's update with a few notes about COVID communication. I last spoke to you about pandemic communication at your January 21st work study session, and that was a comprehensive overview of the last year worth of communication and campaigns about COVID prevention and testing, along with city service impacts. During that briefing, I alluded to the COVID-19 vaccines as the next frontier of our communication efforts, and tonight I can briefly let you know about our work on that front. We're told that the Arizona Department of Health Services will shortly be unveiling a campaign, a $1 million communication campaign, but Tempe is, which we will repeat and share, but Tempe is also doing its own vaccine communication as well. We're still committed to reminding residents and visitors about what we call the basics, and those are the CDC approved guidelines for mask wearing and distancing and hand washing. Those measures are still very important to reduce and prevent transmission. But we're now deeply involved in telling our community members where and how they can get the vaccine, as well as working to convince those who might be hesitant how and why they should be vaccinated. As soon as we become aware of vaccine availability information through the state or the county or private providers like pharmacies, we are quickly passing that information on to our residents. You're looking now at a sampling of those kinds of social media posts. On March 3rd, we hosted Vaccine 411, which was a Tempe-specific Facebook Live event that was simultaneously broadcast on Tempe 11. We had Assistant Chiefs Duty and Glass, along with the Chief Nursing Officer at Tempe St. Luke's Hospital, and they provided vaccine information, dispelled myths, and answered questions from community members in real time. And we're now developing plans for a Spanish language only version of Vaccine 411, hopefully in partnership with some Spanish language media outlets. We have large COVID banners up at the library complex, one facing rural and one facing southern. The red alert banner on every web page directs people to our vaccine page, and that appears on every single web page in the tempe.gov site. We're about to distribute thousands of coloring pages with COVID tips to every single Tempe restaurant, and that's a partnership with the city, Tempe Tourism, DTA, and the Chamber of Commerce. On or about April 2nd, we will be launching a brand new suite of information. It'll be printable materials, downloadable materials, social media graphics, and more, and it will be completely devoted to the vaccine. We'll be offering these resources for open use by any community group or nonprofit, ASU, churches, neighborhood groups. We really want to open up its use and make it available to anyone who would like to share it. We're also soliciting stories and photos and videos from community members who, as we've done all along through our pandemic communication, to personalize what we're attempting to communicate to the community. So we'll be asking for their stories about how they were vaccinated, and some reunion stories, hopefully, of things like grandparents and grandchildren post-vaccination. And we're working on additional target approaches for people who are hesitant about getting the vaccine. We've scanned and synthesized a lot of research nationally and statewide about vaccine hesitancy, and we're watching the county numbers of how many people have been vaccinated in each of the Tempe zip codes. And so we expect that all of this research and data will continue to inform our communication efforts as it already has. The slide you're looking at now is an assembly of the relevant website URLs that folks in the community might refer to. Tempe.gov/coronavirus is that main hub for all coronavirus information and has been since the beginning. And we have added /vaccines as well, which is meant to be our hub for all things vaccine related. And of course, any resident or community member can always call Tempe 311 for information as well. And so with that, Chief Glass and I are happy to take any questions or ideas and suggestions you might have.
Thank you, Chief Glass. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Andrew. Any council members have any comments or questions here? I see Councilmember Adams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate it. I just want to just really give the fire department and Nikki's team just a huge thank you. You've done such a good job in these difficult circumstances with your communication to both our public and to us. And I feel like we really have just, I don't know, it just has been so wonderful, the communication. And I'm just so happy that you're on our Tempe team, and I appreciate, I know the fire department gave us, you know, regular COVID updates, and it was just so helpful. And Nikki, you've gotten the word out to the community, and this is about saving lives. It's that important. So good job, and hats off to both of you and to the entire department.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Councilmember Adams. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mayor. No, just briefly, this is outstanding. Obviously, from what we started with the dashboard, with opioids tracking, utilizing the resources with ASU, and the ability to flip from opioid tracking to COVID tracking, and utilizing this tool like we want to. I mean, at the end of the day, I think hopefully we continue to go forward, advancing this tool, advancing great notifications like COVID, where it's happening in certain areas, and how to have a strategic plan when we get this information. It just shows that Tempe is on the map for sure, worldwide with this information. And I think that we need to do our best to really support this, really try to utilize this tool for some great improvement, not only for COVID and opioids, but for other diseases that might be coming down our way. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, staff, and what you presented tonight. I think this is outstanding. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Councilmember Navarro. Any other council members, comments or questions? All right. Well, no, thank you very much, Chief Glass. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate all the work that's been done here. You know, this has been an incredibly challenging time for Tempe residents and business owners, and frankly, for our entire world. And so just really continue to appreciate the amazing work that's being done by our staff internally to keep our residents and our business people safe. So thank you so much again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all the items I have for today. Appreciate it.
Great. Okay, thank you, Mr. City Manager. Really appreciate it. All right. Next up here, we have item number 5, which is the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and will be enacted with one motion by the City Council unless an item is removed for separate consideration. Members of the public may remove public hearing items for separate consideration as well. Public hearing items are designated by an asterisk, and council members may remove any item for separate consideration or to declare a conflict of interest. If a council member would like to declare a conflict at this time, the city clerk will provide the council member with a disclosure form. The public may also submit written comments via the City of Tempe speaker comment card on tempe.gov/clerk. The consent agenda is listed as miscellaneous items 5A1 through 5A12, awards of bids and contracts, item 5B1 through 5B23, and resolutions, item 5C1 through 5C23, with the exception of item 5C10, which has been removed by staff for updates and will be rescheduled to a later date. I also would like to pull items 5A, 5C6, and 5C23. Give me 1 second here. Okay, great. Just trying to get my computer back up and running here. Something just crashed. I apologize. The challenges of running a meeting from Wi-Fi. All right, so does any agenda item that's marked with an asterisk that I noted before is a public hearing item and can be removed by a member of the public for separate consideration? Council, are there any agenda items that you would like to remove from the consent agenda for separate consideration? All right, hearing none. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception.
Yeah, second, Mayor.
Okay, all right, I think it was moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Vice Mayor Keating. I'm going to go ahead and take a roll with the exception, of course, of items 5C10, 5A8, 5C6, and 5C23. Motion was made and seconded. I'm going to go with the roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie?
Aye.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Yes.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The consent agenda passes 7-0. Wanted to note the items that were pulled here. First off, before we vote on them, item 5A8 was pulled, just simply to point out the nexus of the item as it relates to some of the things we talked about earlier as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm just really happy to be heading in the right direction, that we are really getting everyone vaccinated, which is wonderful. However, I just want to make sure that we don't forget about the hardships that this pandemic has had on so many vulnerable populations. The notion of financial inclusion means that all residents and businesses have access to not only financial stability, but also wealth building and economic opportunities. Hometown for All, the Right to Breathe, and small business grants are several new initiatives that the city has set in motion to actionably address financial inclusion and poverty that existed pre-COVID, but was clearly exacerbated by the pandemic. In the coming months, you're going to see how these initiatives are branches of a comprehensive financial inclusion program to not only improve housing attainability, but also the economic vitality of all of Tempe's residents and businesses. Also, I wanted to talk really quickly about item 5C6 here, but I'm going to go and I'll finish 5A8 first, and we'll go ahead and take a vote on that. Then I'll go into my next one. Do I have a motion? Anyone else have a comment on 5A8, or do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Keating. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Garland. Okay, I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie?
Aye.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 5A8 passes unanimously, 7-0. Next item I pulled was item 5C6, which I think is also a really exciting next step for the city. We've been recently awarded a planning grant to engage with the cities for financial empowerment that will assist the city in creating a strategy that ties together all of the initiatives that we've talked about. And I'm just really excited to continue this work and look forward to updates on this progress. With that said, I'll look for a motion to approve item 5C6.
Moved.
So moved.
I think that was moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Garland. I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie?
Aye.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Yes.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 5C6 passes 7-0. And I also pulled, lastly, item 5C3, which is the council resolution to support the Arizona Board of Regents Promise Program. This program does hit along the same thread as a lot of our previous items. The Promise Program, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is a guaranteed scholarship to cover tuition and fees for Arizona students from low-income families. A strong investment into our state universities will obviously not only help Tempe, but the entire state in being a leader when it comes to economic growth well into the new decade. And I also know that some of my council colleagues want to comment on this item, so I'm going to look to them for any hands. Let's see, Councilmember Cubie.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was really delighted to learn about this program, and I know this Promise program exists in other states as well, so I would urge the legislature to include that in the budget negotiations coming up. And I know the states that have enacted this program, they've seen such direct benefits in the way students view college and their place in it. So you see increases in K-12 achievement, high school enrollment, retention, and college enrollment and completion. So it's all interconnected, and I'm so glad that the Board of Regents is taking this up with the legislature, and best of luck.
Thank you, Councilmember Cubie. Councilmember Garland?
I just want to say that I'm in support of this also. I think it's wonderful. I will say that it's for students in Arizona that's graduated with a minimum of a 2.5 GPA, and they are eligible for the free reduced lunch program, and they've completed the FAFSA application. So I think it's a really easy way for people to understand if they are if they can be a part of this program. And I also want to say that it's not just for the state universities, it's also for the community colleges. So I think it's a wonderful program, and I'm glad that City of Tempe is looking at supporting this resolution.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilmember Garland. Any other council members, any comments or questions? If not, I will look for a motion to approve item 5C23.
So moved.
Looks like I heard, I think, moved by Councilmember Navarro and a second from Councilmember Cubie. I'm going to go ahead and do a roll call vote here. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie?
Aye.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Yes.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 5C23 passes unanimously, 7-0. All right. Next up here, we're going to go all the way past the consent agenda. All right. Item number 6 here is the non-consent agenda. All items listed on the non-consent agenda will be considered separately. Agenda items scheduled for introduction and first public hearing will be heard but will not be voted upon at this meeting. Agenda items scheduled for second public hearing and final adoption will be voted upon tonight. Council members who may have a conflict of interest may abstain from voting on a matter, and the city clerk will provide the council members with the disclosure form at this time. Item 6A, first of all, is miscellaneous bids, items, contracts, and resolutions. First item under the section is 6A1, which is to hold a public hearing on the biennial audit for development fees for water, wastewater, police, fire, street, and park and recreational facilities for the period July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2020. Madam Clerk, any comments received from the public regarding this item, or if there are any requests from the public wishing to speak?
None for this item, Mayor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'm going to go to the councils here. Any comments or discussion? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on then. Next item under the section is 6A2, which is to approve the utilization of one-year State of Arizona contracts with PFBT Motors, Larry Miller Toyota, Courtesy Chevrolet, Midway Chevrolet, Sanderson Ford, Santan Auto Partners, and Tempe Dodge for the purchase of 72 vehicles. Council, any comments or discussion? All right, hearing none.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Cubie.
this just seems like a good opportunity to say that Tempe leads the state in the number of electric vehicles. 6% of our vehicles are electric, and that's because of the work of staff and getting us to that. It's not even a goal. They created that amazing statistic all on their own without council direction. So I'm really pleased to know that we're moving in the right direction for cleaner cars. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilmember Cubie. Any other council members, any comments or questions? If not, I'll go ahead and look for a motion on item 6A2.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Garland. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Go ahead and take a roll call vote here. Councilmember Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Yes.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 6A2 passes 7-0. The next item under the section is 6A3, which is to approve a one-year contract renewal with Cigna Dental Health Plan of Arizona, Incorporated, to provide a dental preferred provider organization plan and a dental health maintenance organization plan to eligible city employees and their dependents. Council, any comments or discussion on item 6A3? All right, hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion on item 6A3.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Cubie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Let's go ahead and take a roll call. Councilmember Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Yep. Yes.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 6A3 passes 7-0. The last item under the section is 6A4, which is to award a construction contract to Felix Construction Company for the Carver Sewage Pumping Station Rehabilitation Project located at 8180 Gentilly Lane. Council, any comments or discussion on this item? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve item 6A4?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Garland. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Cubie. Roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 6A4 passes 7-0. The next section on the non-consent agenda is ordinances and items for introduction and first hearing. These items will be read and introduced tonight, but no vote will be taken. The second hearing and vote for these items is scheduled for April 15th, 2021. Next up, we have ordinances and items for introduction and first public hearing. First item under this section is 6B1, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute documents to transfer title to certain property within the Hayden Ferry Lakeside development to Cousins Fund 2, Phoenix 4, LLC, and acknowledge termination of a lease. Madam Clerk, any comments received from the public regarding this item or anyone wishing to speak?
Nothing for this item, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any comments or discussion? All right, hearing none. We're not taking any vote on this tonight. The second and final hearing on this item will take place on April 15th, 2021. Next item under the section is 6B2, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 14A, Historic Preservation, of the Tempe City Code by amending Section 14A-3 relating to the Historic Preservation Commission, Historic Preservation Officer. Is staff available to make a statement on this item? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, any comments received from the public regarding this item or any requests to speak?
No submissions for this item, Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any comments or discussion? And if not, let's see. Any comments or discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Cubey.
Yeah, I want to say this, this really results directly from the acknowledgement, the land acknowledgement language that we adopted and really walking the talk. So I want to thank Councilmember Garland, because within this, these changes, we're going to have one representative from the 4 Southern tribes, which will be responsible for nominating a designee to serve on the Historic Preservation Commission. I think that is such an important step, and it shows that we're walking the talk and that we're breathing life into the land acknowledgement language. Thank you, Councilmember Garland.
Thank you, Councilmember Cubey.
Hi, Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Garland.
Councilmember Garland, I'd like to say also thank you to Lauren for helping to work on this, and for you, Mayor, for being supportive of this the whole way. But I think this is also another really great way for us to listen to a native voice when we're discussing history, places, buildings, and land within Tempe. And it's another way, just as Councilmember Cubey just said, is making sure that, as we say at the end of our land acknowledgement resolution, it says, we accept the responsibility of stewarding those places and solemnly pledge to consider this commitment in every action. And by doing this, it's just one of those opportunities for us to make sure that this is a living document. It continues to grow. So thank you so much. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Thank you, Councilmember Garland. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, member of the council. Just want to let you know that Alex Smith is available from staff if you need him to answer any questions or make any presentations.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Council, any comments or questions for Mr. Smith?
Hi, this is Doreen again. I just want to say that the land acknowledgement resolution would not have happened without Alex and John Southern. I just want to say thank you very much to them. They really built this incredible relationship with our 4 Southern tribes that we are so lucky and honored and privileged to have. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Hearing no further comments or needing a staff presentation, I'll just reiterate the second and final public hearing on this item is scheduled for April 15th, 2021. Next item under the section is 6B3, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of a roadway and utility easement, also known as Rockford Drive, lying north of Wildermuth Avenue and located in the southeast quarter of Section 24, Township 1, North Range 4, East Gila and Salt River Base, and Meridian, Maricopa County, Arizona. Madam Clerk, any comments received from the public regarding this item?
Mayor, we have Manjula Vaz on standby if council has any questions for her. Other than that, no public input.
All right, so I will close the public hearing portion. Council, any comments or discussion on this item? All right, seeing none. Once again, the second and final public hearing will take place on April 15, 2021. Next item under the section is 6B4, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance authorizing abandonment of portions of an irrigation and utility easement lying west of River Drive and located in the southeast quarter of Section 24, Township 1, North Range 4, East Gila and Salt River Base in Meridian, Maricopa County, Arizona. Let's see, Madam Clerk, any comments from the public received regarding this item?
Again, Mayor, I have Manjula Vaz on standby for any questions and no public input.
All right, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing portion. Council, any comments or discussion on item 6B4? All right, hearing none. The second and final public hearing on this item is scheduled for April 15th, 2021. The last item under the section is 6B5, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to receive public comment on and adopt a resolution authorizing the annual Community Development Block Grant Home Program and Emergency Solutions Grant Action Plan for fiscal year 2021-2022. The staff want to make a statement on this item. Okay, I'll wait to see if there's any comments from council then. Madam Clerk, any public comment received on this item?
Nothing for this item, Mayor.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Council, any comments or discussion? All right, hearing none. Once again, reminder that we're not taking a vote here tonight. The second and final public hearing will take place on April 15th, 2021. Next up, the following agenda items are scheduled for second public hearing and final adoption. These items were read and introduced on February 11th, 2021, with the exception of item 6C1, which was previously heard on January 28th, 2021 and February 11th, 2021. Votes on all three items will be taken tonight. The first item under this section is item 6C1, to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance for revisions to the Tempe City Code by adding a new chapter 22A for the regulation of marijuana on public property. Is staff available to make a statement on this item?
Mayor, this is Judy Bauman. I'm happy to make a statement if the council would like, or just answer some questions.
Yeah, Madam City Attorney, if you can just quickly explain, why this item was continued and what the changes have been made, therefore, so the public actually knows what changes we've adopted to the proposed ordinance.
Certainly, thank you, Mayor. So at the last public hearing on this item, the City Council was considering prohibitions on possession and other actions concerning public property. A resident brought to our attention, and then a council member asked that we look at it. Specific to the issue of possession and how folks might actually be able to carry around certain quantities of marijuana now that it is legal for adults over the age of 21 to do so. We did look at that in more detail, looked at other cities and jurisdictions that had previously adopted it, and believed that a recommendation could be made to remove the prohibition on possession. So that ordinance has been revised and is before the council for your consideration this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. All right, let's see here. Madam Clerk, any comments received from the public regarding this item?
Nothing for this item, Mayor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any comments or discussions? I see Councilmember Cubie. Actually, let's do this here. I think I heard a motion by Councilmember Navarro. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Cubie. Okay, now let's go to discussion. Councilmember Cubie.
Just quickly, thank you so much, Judy and staff, for listening to our residents and listening to council. I was concerned that we were going to be making illegal something that was made legal by the voters, and especially the voters in Tempe. So thank you for removing that prohibition. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Cubie. All right. Had a motion by Councilmember Navarro, a second by Councilmember Cubie. If there are no further comments or discussion, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie?
Aye.
Councilmember Garland?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Yes.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 6C1 passes 7-0. The next item under the section is item 6C2, which is to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance for a zoning map amendment from HID to MU-4, a planned area development overlay for an existing office building on Lot 1, a new apartment community on Lot 2, and new 13,500 square foot retail and restaurant uses on Lot 3 to establish development standards and a development plan review for Lots 2 and 3. The site, Rio East, is 14.2 acres, located at 98 South River Drive. The applicant is Quarles and Brady, LLC. I'm going to go ahead and, I see a hand here. Vice Mayor Keating.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we continue this item to the May 27th regular meeting.
I second that.
Okay, so the motion's been made by Vice Mayor Keating to move this item to the May 27th regular council meeting. It's been seconded by Councilmember Adams. Actually, before I do that, let me ask a really quick question too, because I realize I skipped one quick step. Madam Clerk, were there any comments received by the public on this item?
Mayor, you do have David Brooks representing Brock Properties.
Okay, so we might get to Mr. Brooks, but no public comment, correct?
No other public comment, and if you're continuing the public hearing, we can continue the public comment, obviously.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so I've got a motion from Councilmember Keating, Vice Mayor Keating, excuse me, to continue this item to the regular council meeting on May 27th, 2021, seconded by Councilmember Adams. Do I have any comments or discussion? I see Councilmember Cubie.
No, I'm good. I was going to make the motion, but Randy
Okay.
beat to the punch.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and then call for a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Yes.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 6C2 is going to be continued to the May 27th, 2021 regular council meeting. The last item under the section is item 6C3, which is to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a development and disposition agreement with Artspace Projects Incorporated, a Minnesota nonprofit corporation. Is staff available to make a statement?
Yes, I am, Mayor. This is Maria Lochner.
Yes, Maria, go ahead.
I would like to share a presentation.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Whoops. All right, can you, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for seeing this item. We're very excited to bring this project. We think it's going to make a difference to Tempe in terms of the longevity and the sustainability of the affordable housing, as well as the investment into Tempe's local art scene. First, I'd like to just give a quick overview of who Artspace is. They're a 42-year-old national nonprofit real estate developer that has built over 53 live-work affordable housing units across the United States, with over 3 million square feet of affordable art space and 2,000 live-work units. The most recent one that has been built in Arizona was built in Mesa. As an overview of where the project is, the map shows you that it's sandwiched between the New School for the Arts and Academics and the Dorsey Park and Ride. So it's just north of Apache Boulevard, making great use of the transit that's available there at the light rail station at Dorsey. The Tempe project will include a 60-year ground lease with permanent affordability. That means that the cap of the income of tenants that will be allowed in the project will be at 80% for all 60 years. It will be a 5-story multifamily project with 68 affordable units, and our Artspace will be applying for low-income housing tax credits through the Arizona Department of Housing. While ArtSpace does have an occupancy preference for artists, all households will be eligible as per the fair housing laws. In addition to building the apartments, ArtSpace will also be building for the city a 2-story open air parking structure to replace the 127 park and ride spaces that their project will cover. Once they have completed that project, they will turn ownership over to the city for the city to own and manage. In return for this, the city has agreed to pay for the phase 1 and ALTA surveys for the project, as well as waive development fees and provide $500,000 in CDBG funding. And if you're curious as to what the arts market in Tempe looks like, an initial arts market study that ArtSpace conducted illustrated that over 200 Tempe artists are interested in an artist live work space, and 170 Tempe artists are interested in a working studio space, both of which would be available at the project. Furthermore, the Mesa Art Loft project that was completed 2 years ago has a wait list that is double the number of units built. And the benefits to Tempe of having a project like this are numerous. Primarily, we're looking at the development of underutilized property in the urban core to create transit-oriented and sustainable, permanently affordable housing also within the urban core and along the light rail. This project will also build on the city's investment in the local Tempe arts environment by creating this high-quality residential apartment project. And I would like to answer any questions if council has any.
Mayor, I move we approve.
I think it was Councilmember Navarro moved approval. Do I have a second?
I second.
This is the second time you called me Joel, Mayor. The second time.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Keating. My apologies. So moved by Vice Mayor Keating, seconded by Councilmember Adams. Let's see here. Any further comments or questions on this item? I'll just say really quickly, thank you very much, Maria, for the presentation. Very excited, obviously, about the notion of getting another affordable housing project in the city of Tempe, and obviously something that's going to really serve our artists with live work units. I think it's a wonderful thing for the city, and I'm just really excited to have art space right here in our wonderful community. So it's just fantastic. As everybody knows, affordable housing is a huge passion of mine. So whenever I see projects like this come across the council agenda, I get super excited. So thank you, staff, for all the work that you did to bring them over here to our city.
Thank you, Mayor.
With that said, once again, motion was made by Vice Mayor Keating, seconded by Councilmember Adams. I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Cubie.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Yes. Mayor.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Item 6C3 passes unanimously, 7-0. Next up here, we have item number 7, current events, council announcements, and future agenda items. I'm going to go ahead and call on council members for their comments. I'm going to start with Councilmember Navarro.
Mayor, I have none.
Great. Thank you so much. Councilmember Cubie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Putting up a little presentation there. I wanted to let you all know that a remarkable man passed away in February. It's Peter Iverson. Do you have the presentation? Peter Iverson was my neighbor, but more importantly, he was the first Regents Professor of History at Arizona State. And he wrote 10 books. One, The History of the Navajos, is his seminal work. And he was an amazing man, amazing neighbor, cared so much about the community, and he has established a scholarly legacy that certainly will be recognized for a long time in our region and in the annals of history. So we all miss him terribly, Peter Iverson. And they have established a Native American scholarship if anyone's interested in contributing to that scholarship that is being run by the ASU Foundation. Thank you. And next, ASU will be hosting the Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II of the Poor People's Campaign. It's a talk on Saturday, April 17th at 2 o'clock on delivering democracy. He is a powerful speaker. I had the privilege of meeting him once and hearing him speak soon after, and I urge you all to attend. Then third, we always have our Sustainable and Livable Communities Council Committee that Councilmember Adams and I co-chair. We meet the fourth Wednesday of the month at 6 o'clock. We had our meeting last night. It went long. We'll try and be briefer, but there were a lot of great issues discussed. So we urge you, the public, to attend and give us their input. And then lastly, there's an event that I'm holding as part of my job at ASU, but it is Solve Climate by 2030. And in that event, we are going to be suggesting big ideas and big actions for Arizona by the year 2030, so we can solve the climate issue by then. So it's a Zoom event, and will feature Mayor Regina Romero from Tucson, Vasavi Perea from Chispa, Nicole Horseherder, who started Dine Cares, and I don't want to mispronounce, but I think To'o Nzoni Ani, that's the group that she heads up now. And then Clark Miller, who's a School for the Future of Innovation and Society that I know our Councilmember, Vice Mayor Keating knows very well. He'll be moderating the discussion. So I urge you to participate, and you'll be hearing the big ideas, big actions in areas of just transitions and in green solutions and in energy. So I would love you all to attend. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Cubie. Councilmember Garland.
I do, Mayor. I have a slide, but first I'll just go ahead and say that Joel Navarro and I will be hosting the Human Services and Community Safety Committee meeting tomorrow at noon. Information is on the City of Tempe's website, so hope you can join us. So I am so excited to announce that a few months ago, I started working with the Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus Pine Council and our city staff on a City of Tempe patch program that would allow Girl Scouts to earn a patch for learning about Tempe. And I was a Girl Scout leader for 6 years, and I would have loved to have had our troop learn more about Tempe with a patch program like this. While we were reviewing the patch program, we also realized that this would be something fun for all of our Tempe kids to be able to participate in, whether they're Girl Scouts or not. The program details are being finalized and will be available this summer, but in the meantime, we need to design a patch. So I got together with staff, and we thought it would be really fun to let the kids in Tempe design a patch for us to be able to use. The patch will be set up as an art contest, which will kick off on April 5th. There will be a lot of information coming out next week about the rules and the design details. But in the meantime, I wanted to let all of our K through 12 students know that it is coming. So start thinking about a design that would represent Tempe to you. The patch designs will go through an internal panel of folks who will review the submissions, and then the finalists will be chosen by the public and displayed for everyone to see before a final winner is selected, hopefully before the end of the school year. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what our students are going to create and send in to us. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Garland. Next up, Vice Mayor Keating.
Sorry, Mayor. Sorry, Mayor. I'm here. Only to say there's nothing for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's see, Councilmember Arenado Savage.
Hello, Mayor. Yeah, I just got a couple of slides. I think one of the things that we talked about just a little bit earlier is that we have awesome employees that continue to do great work, and we want to ensure that everybody is safe. So we're very COVID conscious, and I want to just give a great shout out to our College Connect team that continue to work and really try to help our students. I think now that are probably struggling more than ever, just making sure that they're on the right path for whatever that may be to them. So if you have a high school senior or you're a parent of one and you guys haven't completed your FAFSA yet, it's really not too late. So come on out. College Connect Tempe will be holding a Fafsa Drive-In event on Wednesday, April 14th from 4 to 7 at the Tempe Community Complex parking lot, which is like the library complex. So we will have FAFSA experts available to answer any of your questions, help you complete your forms, right from your car. You don't even have to get out. It's going to be awesome. And I really just want to thank so much the College Connect team, all of our great partners from the colleges, the universities for everything that you do. And also I want to thank Councilmember Garland for volunteering. So she probably doesn't know what she got herself into, but I want to say thank you for that. And just to let everybody else know that we will have services in English and Spanish too. So please come, know we're there to help you get things situated. And as we continue to open up, another thing that we are working on, and I'm sure Joel would have brought this up, but I'm going to do it for him. Loud X, which is actually an outdoor celebration of live music. It's going to be featuring the Sugar Thieves Band and Valenzuela and Zubia at the Tempe History Museum, and it's an outdoor event. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's actually, I think, the 10th year, so it always is featuring the best musicians in Tempe. And we're pretty excited for Loud X. So come on out, bring your chair. It's going to be awesome. Both the Sugar Thieves and Jesse Valenzuela and Mark Zubia, I think they got their start like on Mill Avenue. So it's pretty exciting for them to be there. I think at the end they're going to show a short video honoring the late Larry Zubia. So if any of you may know him, he's a local guy and unfortunately passed away not too long ago. So it'll be great to be able to see him and honor him. So I recommend you come on out, bring your lawn chair, make sure that we are going to be social distancing and wearing masks. And also the show will be streamed live on Facebook. So very cool, check it out. Really encourage everybody to come out and be safe, but have a good time all at the same time. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Next up, we have Councilmember Adams.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple announcements tonight. One is about vaccine information. I think we'll probably, yeah, there we go. So the city of Tempe hosted Vaccine 411 featuring local COVID-19 experts from our amazing Tempe Fire Medical Rescue Department and Tempe St. Luke's Hospital on Facebook to answer questions like, how does the vaccine work? How effective is it? Which vaccine is best? If they need it, and where can they get it? The video is available online for viewing at youtube.com/Tempe11video or facebook.com/City of Tempe. So I would really encourage you to watch the video. It's very informative. And state-run vaccine locations now are open to everyone ages 16 plus. So starting yesterday, Wednesday, vaccine registration will be open to all residents ages 16 and up. So I'm super excited about that. State-run locations at State Farm Stadium, Phoenix Municipal Stadium, and Chandler Gilbert Community College are available for those vaccines. So you need to visit POD Vaccine, which is PODVACCINE.AZDHS.gov. That's podvaccine.AZDHS.gov every morning at 8 a.m. to check for cancellations, and every Friday at 11 a.m. to see if there are new appointments available. So 8 a.m. every morning and Friday at 11 a.m. Tempe is also reopening. I'm very excited about this too. Tempe is reopening our city-operated fitness centers and Kiwanis Pool. I think I'll go there to Kiwanis and swim laps. So due to the significant decrease in COVID-19 cases over the past few weeks, and with 2 of the 3 benchmarks now in the moderate zone, the city can now offer safely reopen city-operated fitness centers at Kiwanis, Escalante, and North Tempe community centers. Kiwanis Pool will also reopen for lap swim and water fitness sessions. Swim lessons will return in April, and registration is now available online. Of course, face coverings will be required and capacity limitations will remain in place at all facilities and in all classes. If you are interested in any of that, you can go to tempe.gov/Kiwanis to check it out and get the fine details. Thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Adams. Appreciate it. Councilmember Cubie, I believe you have one more announcement.
Forgive me, Mr. Mayor, yes, and if Alex could share the screen. On April 10th, Saturday, it's Dolores Huerta Day in the city of Tempe. We created that holiday last year, and then to appropriately honor her birthday, she'll be 91 years old, we're going to host a youth activism and climate justice virtual training. It's hosted by the Office of Sustainability here in Tempe and Unlimited Potential. And we're aiming this event at 8th through 11th graders. Tempe students are highly encouraged to attend. Of course, anyone can attend. It's going to be a Zoom event, but it's an opportunity to really build skills and network and learn about social media and how to be an activist and to learn from the legacy of Dolores Huerta. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Cubie. Really appreciate it. All right, let's see. I've just got a couple of quick things here. So first of all, I wanted to say congratulations on the retirement of Assistant Police Chief David Humble. I had an opportunity to read a proclamation at his retirement ceremony over at the Tempe Police substation over on Apache, and just wanted to thank Assistant Chief Humble for giving over 30 years to not only the Tempe Police Department, but to the entire city of Tempe. We greatly appreciate your service, and we are going to miss you. The other thing I want to talk about really quickly, too, is about one of my council colleagues here. I wanted to ask, Councilmember Robin Arredondo. It is the Honorable Robin Arredondo Savage ROTC Military Scholarship, and I wanted to give a quick moment here to give her a shout out on something that's very, very special and just wonderful. I know in recent conversations, Jenny Norton and the Ramsey Social Justice Foundation wanted to sponsor a scholarship in partnership with College Connect Tempe. This new scholarship, which is going to support students who are interested in ROTC or a military career, is being named in honor of Councilmember Arredondo Savage. And obviously, Robin, we all know that you're a huge advocate for both veterans and education. You've truly led the way for Tempe to become one of the most preeminent cities for veteran support, and your efforts towards obviously ensuring resources are being provided for education are really well regarded. So I can't think of a better person for the scholarship to be named after than you, Councilmember Robin Arredondo Savage. This $1,000 scholarship is going to really go a long way towards helping out future public servants. And the scholarship application is live right now on the College Connect website through April 30th. So through April 30th, so you got about roughly about 4 to 5 weeks. So just once again, wanted to congratulate my fellow council member, Robin Arredondo Savage, for all of your work with veterans and the education community. You've truly made a difference and made a substantial mark. We really appreciate you, and it's a tremendous honor. So thank you and congratulations.
Hey, Mayor. This is Councilmember Arredondo Savage. I just want to say thank you so much. That was so nice of you to mention that. And I am really honored and humbled, to say the very least. And I know $1,000 for these individual kids will really go a long way. And I just really couldn't be prouder. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you to the Ramsey Social Justice Foundation. They are just an amazing partner in so many different ways, all through the city of Tempe. And we couldn't do half the things we do without them. And then to our College Connect team and the partners, I've really enjoyed working with them and just feel so honored to have such a great program and to have this scholarship. It's pretty amazing, and I'm humbled. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Definitely very well-deserved honor. So congratulations.